So this is one of my favorite places in Vancouver. It's not for the reasons that you think. It's not because of the proximity, and it's not because there's a SkyTrain nearby, there's a huge mall, theater, anything. It's because this is the place where I made my first $1 million. Let me explain. So as some of you may know, 5 years ago in 2016 July, there's this phenomenon, there's this global phenomenon, Pokemon Go. That game launched on that day, I think early July, and just a couple of days in, that game found huge traction, even though it only launched in the States, Australia, and New Zealand. It wasn't available here in Canada. So many of us who are just avid gamers or avid Pokemons or whatever they're into, they just want something new. And this is why Pokemon Go went viral. This game is very simple. You just walk around like this. So as you can see here, this is me. Walk around like this. You see a gym or you see a Pokemon, and then you go and catch it. So many times you won't get it in the first try, but you just keep trying, right? So that's a great throw. So hopefully you'll catch it. Okay. So there we go. We caught a SnowBall. Now we have a Pokemon. And the objective of this game is to collect them all. And you need to upgrade your trainer. You need to find these gyms to battle in. You need to catch more Pokemon to upgrade more experience, therefore level up and all that, right? So here is another objective that we do. We spin the gyms, we collect items, right? And then here's another one. And then we collect more items. And here's a third one. This one you can actually battle in. You can spin, get more items, and then you can battle inside. So let's say we battle. For the battling mechanics, it's simple. It's very simple as well. All you do is tap, tap, tap. All you do is just tap on your phone, and that's it. Just tap, 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 tap. And then when you have enough energy, you can use a special. And why is this my favorite spot? It's because when it launched, there were people here pretty much 24/7. Day and night, they're just here catching Pokemon, flipping the gyms, getting items, leveling up. I believe it was the first week of launching. Even before we had it here in Canada, we were playing this game. This place was packed. People just turned on the VPN and went to the US App Store to download this game. And that's exactly what I did as well. After they launched this game, it was all over the internet. Bloomberg, Finance, CNN, everyone was reporting this game. And then I just kind of had a sense that this game would be much more viral than it was in the very beginning. And there were a couple factors for it. Because they only launched in 3 countries and it's already got news headlines all over the place. There were so many other countries lined up. I just had a sense that the more viral this gets, the more viral this gets. So this is where I went in. As a mindful investor, we like to spot opportunities that other people can't see yet. So while I was catching all this Pokemon right here, I was actually buying a lot more of their stocks. So the Pokemon company is owned by Game Freaks, and Nintendo owns 1/3 of Game Freaks. So therefore, the only listed company that's associated to this game will be Nintendo. And to invest in Nintendo, there are a couple of different ways. I invested it both ways. I invested it through the 797 stock code, 797, you plug it in, we see Nintendo code LTD. This one is listed in the Tokyo Stock Exchange. And also we have the NTDOY, which is the pink sheet version in the US Stock Exchange. NTDOY, pink sheet, so right now is listed at $72. But we go here, and then we move all the way back. We have to move all the way back to 2016. This is where all the magic happened. As we can see here, it started off around here in this area, early July. It started off at $17. Within just like 2 weeks time, it jumped all the way to $40. That was a spike that made me $1 million. So why did I invest in the stock in 2 different exchanges? It's because this was a much larger bet. I actually went margin on it. So any piece of news, positive or negative, that comes out, that comes on Twitter, whenever they launch a new country, and then we see new metrics that come in from sensor towers, I need to react as soon as possible. I couldn't wait overnight. To trade in the US market, it is 6:30 to 1 o'clock PST, but the Japanese market is 4 p.m. PST to like 10 p.m. PST. Pretty much around the clock, I can make a trade, buy, sell, buy, sell. Now we'll go back to some of my favorite photos. Right here, July 8th. That's when I picked my starter Pokemons. And as some of you remember, there was a trick. I don't really care for this Squirtle, Charmander, or Bulbasaur. I only want Pikachu, right? So what you have to do is just keep restarting the game until you get the Pikachu. So finally, I got the Pikachu as my starting Pokemon. CP was 11, I love the Pikachu. So this was my screen cap on July 10th. As we can see here, NTDOY went up 10%. Nintendo 7974 in the Japanese market went up 23.45%, just over a weekend. So almost immediately, I had this 20% buffer, but I didn't sell at all. I didn't sell any shares because I feel like there are many more catalysts to come. Since in the first weekend is only 3 countries. There are 30 more countries to come, and they're already making headlines before all these other launches. So what do you think? What do you think will happen when they launch in all these other countries? Immediately, people will jump on. The ones who haven't hacked it with a VPN, they will just download it right away. Even our parents would download it. Everyone who had a cell phone would download it to see what it's about. And that is the metric I needed. That is the metric I needed that says, over the first weekend, the US market downloaded 20 million times. Over the next weekend, 100 million times. And then a couple of days more, 300 million times. That is the projectile that I needed for this stock to continue to boom. And that's what I projected to be. So this was July 10th. The Nintendo of Japan went up 23%. And then the very next day, July 11th, right here, the US counterpart went up 33% in one day. So all my position has like close to a 30% buffer, blended average within my Japanese and the US positions. So I was pretty much sitting pretty. I didn't have to sell any shares, I had a huge buffer. And this is a photo at 9:30 p.m. about 5 years ago in July 11th. We see all these gyms and Pokestops have Sakura on them, meaning there are people putting lure modules in there to lure more Pokemon. So people can just spend the whole day here, catching more Pokemon, spinning stops, getting items, leveling up, and so forth. This is a photo. This is a photo I took that night, 9:30. This is somewhat of a smaller crowd. And they're just all around, just chilling. And some people, I think one night I came at like 3 a.m. and they're still playing. They're just catching nonstop. And that's the only things you see them doing, just staring at their phone, sitting down, this guy. Yeah, even this group that pretends they're not playing, like this guy pretends he's not playing, but he is. So this game was drawing crowds all over the world. Well, that's cute. Okay. So this is a photo at 10 p.m. Same idea, non-stop Sakuras, non-stop Pokemon spawning. And then on July 11th, the Japanese market opens and we jump up another 13% to match the US market. They're all playing catch up. In the very first stage, Japan jumps up 20 and then US jumps up 33. And now Japan is catching up with another 13. So we're taking turns. This photo was from Twitter just a couple days later. And it showed the potential of this game, how much advertisements you can put in. You can get all these ad sponsors within the Google Maps, and then you can charge all these companies. This is where it went berserk, because they know that they can make more money. And with the traction they're gaining, 20 million, 100 million to 300 million within like 10 days, the potential is limitless. So then the Japanese market jumped another 16%. And we had an article on July 17th. It says, due to the game's massive popularity, Pokemon Go's panel at Comic-Con is upgraded to a Hall H, a whole conference room that fits 6,500 people. They opened it up just to cater to people to catch Pokemon. That's how big things grew. And then this one I had to screen capture because it says, "Our servers are humbled by your incredible response. We're working to resolve the issue. Please try again soon." So they're pretty much breaking the servers, which is a good sign because it shows how much traffic they're drawing in. And as we all know, that's like having unlimited customers, and we just find a way to cater for them. We just open longer hours, open more lanes, and then the money just comes flying in. Easy. That's like the best problem you can have. So now is July 18th. The Nintendo stock, ticker NTDOY, went from $17 to $36 within 10 days. It doubled within 10 days. So pretty much on the same day right here, it says July 18th. That's when I just walked in and bought a car. I just bought a brand new Civic. My previous Civic was like 10 years old, but I didn't really need it. This is the type of thing that happens when you hit a jackpot. You tend to want to spend it right away. And I pretty much spent it on the same day. In the morning, 9:30, I saw the price at $36. And then at 5:30 p.m., I'm there signing the contract. I'm just deciding if it's blue or black. And as some of you may know, I went for the blue. So now at this point, I observed the markets. I observed some Bloomberg articles. They were comparing Nintendo to the likes of Facebook because of how many users they get per day and how many hours of engagement they get a day. I just found it ridiculous. Like, we all know that this Pokemon game is not sustainable, but the likes of WhatsApp and Facebook is. And there is so much more room for growth within those companies. But some of these financial analysts were benchmarking Nintendo to Facebook, which was ridiculous. And that's when I got out. There's a saying that it's better to be lucky than good. But in this very instance, I was both. I felt invincible. I got into the position really early. I went hard on it. I went 3x margin. I believe my count was maybe at 200K. I went 3x on it, so pretty much 600K. All in this one stock on the very first day I was playing this game. I think I was just playing right here, just observing things, just seeing the potential catalyst for this game. And all I was doing, and just observing and imagining what it could potentially be. I was catching some Pokemon, but I was buying a lot more stocks. So let's do a recap of what I've done well on this trade. That's very transferable on my future speculation plays. Number one, get in early, get in hard. Number two, set a stop loss. Because at any moment in time, things can turn the other way. Things can just flop. They say, oh, the servers are down, they can't fix it, so no one can play. That's a potential, right? How probable it is, not sure, but there's always a chance that it can flop. But on the very first day, since the stock already jumped up 20%, I set my stop loss at plus 10%. So if it breaks back down, I would still be making the 10%. And then as the stock goes up, you kind of raise this bar. You're not really stopping your losses, but you're stopping your gains, if you know what I mean. So you're kind of raising the bar from 10% to 20 to 30 to 40 and so forth. And then since the stock jumped up so fast that you expect some kind of pullbacks. So even if it pulls back 5 to 10%, I didn't care because I knew the story is not over yet. And then the last point is to have an exit strategy. Like, no stock will just continuously go up, especially on these plays that are like a cyclical, seasonal type of play. We know that this game will not last forever. No game lasts forever. Even Candy Crush, it can boom for a little bit, but ultimately it'll come back down because people will just get sick of it over time. That's human nature. People like what's fresh, what's new, what's viral, and then they forget. And then there was another reason why I knew this game wouldn't last very long. It's because at the time of launch in early July, the weather is great. People can just lounge here all day long, 24/7. But I know when it comes to September, when it's back to school, all the kids won't be just lounging around here. And then when the rain season comes in, no one's gonna come out anymore. And this game is about going out and about. It's Pokemon Go. It's not Pokemon Stay at Home. Well, right now it's Stay at Home Pokemon, but back then, 5 years ago, it's about getting the kilometers in. It's about going out to the wild. It's about going out to the waters and catching the Magikarps, and going into the forest to get the foresty ones, or going out at night for the ghosts, the Gengars of the world. With these two factors coming in, we know that this hype wouldn't last. So that was the whole play. Go in hard at 17, get out at 36, and that was a quick mill. So another question to ask ourselves is, if this happened again, would I react the same way? Or can I possibly improve on these trades? Because now this whole event is kind of built into our system, and we can replicate it, we can improve it. So let's say in July this year, there's another game, the same format, same mechanics, where they use Google Maps and people are just wandering off, gathering in crowds and playing it. Would I do the exact same thing? The answer is no, because this sort of thing only works on the very first time. If there's a replica of this Pokemon Go, it can still drive up the stock price a little bit, but definitely not doubling within 2 weeks. Like, the magnitude is gonna be dampened for sure. So if the same thing happened, I would speculate as well, but definitely managing the risk by your bet sizing. Like, I wouldn't go all in. I wouldn't put like 200K in it and leveraging 3 times. That'll be ridiculous. I might put a little bit in options and speculate that way. I would have done the same for Nintendo through options, but in the US market, since it's pink sheet, there are no options for it. And in the Japanese market, the spread is so wide and the volume is really thin. Whenever that happens, let's say the spread is 10%. So we have bid and ask at $1 and $1.10. But if we specify buying or selling in the mid price, 105, it wouldn't execute because no one's really there. You become the market maker. Like, the $1 and $1.10 is like a bot. So in order for you to buy this, you have to buy it at $1.10. And when you sell it, you have to sell it at $1. So this 10% premium is gonna add up. Let's say if I went out and bought 1,000 contracts, I'm buying all these at a huge premium, 10, 15, 20%. And then when I sell it, it's the same story. I have to sell it at -10, -15, -20%. So the gap there, the premiums there, is already like a 20 to 40% gap. Like, it's hard to win in those games. So that's why I just bought the shares straight up. The best market for the options game is always the US market. I've never done it for the Canadian market. I have some in the Hong Kong market, and the Japanese market, don't even think about it. Like, there's nothing going on there. So if you want to know more about options, check out my playlist right here. And if you want to know more about stock market investing, check out the playlist here. Again, thanks for watching, take care, and I'll see you in the next one.